gonna try and spin this around. I got here, the news people interviewed me left and right. I'm gonna spin this around and then we'll wait. There's a lot of people here. Hello everyone, I see you coming in. Alright, we'll see what happens here. Remember, I can't really go with the chat because I'm trying to keep the camera going. Just smash the like button, everybody. Share, like, and subscribe. Hey, Crofty, good to see you. Remember what I said. There's the mayor right there.
It's delicious.
I think the mayor's more worried about collecting money from those businesses than he is about human life. That's what I think.
Council, how you doing, sir?
That's the last thing I'll say.
Good to see you. Wonderful. How you doing, man? Avery Johnson, Council President. Hey, how you doing, sir? Hey, good to see you again, too, Martin. How you been? Great. Can't complain at all.
It's Mr. Avery, head of the council. There's the mayor, and that's my councilwoman right there. That's Tanisha. I'm not sure who that guy is with the tie. Going your way? YouTuber who's been in the city my whole life, and I go around and record what happens in the city, and I upload it to YouTube.
All right, everybody. If I can have your attention. Good evening.
All right, here we go.
Thank you for joining us tonight. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to the Garfield Heights Police Department for their diligent work in reducing violent crime in our city by over 33% last year.
You're crazy.
Regarding the events of May 17th, I want to commend them for their prompt response and dedicated work. I would also like to acknowledge that we have with us up here our Council President Avery Johnson. We have Councilwoman Dr. Tanisha Mack from the ward in question. One councilperson, Stacy Collier, councilperson pro tem. So thank you for coming out. At this time, I would like to turn the meeting over to our chief prosecutor, Mr. Edward Fidel, and he can kind of go over some of the things with you that he knows.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Edward Fidel. I'm Garfield Heights' chief. Never sat on this side. So I'm Garfield Heights' chief prosecutor. I started in February of 2023. I had a prior career as a Cuyahoga County prosecutor before that for 8 years at various levels. And first and foremost, I want to thank you all for coming out. Being in front of you all, I think it's very important that us as employees of the city speak.
I can't see the chat.
The rest are certainly very disturbing. And I share those concerns that you have with all of you. It means a lot that you're here, not only supporting the process, but also being educated on what can and can't be done. And so on the table right now when it comes to Showcase. But as far as the bigger picture, I'm not naive. I recognize that there are a number of problem locations within our jurisdiction, and things are being done with those locations as well. For example, the owners of a couple bars in our jurisdiction were previously indicted in the fall through work with Ohio Investigative Unit, and that case is currently pending in the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office. There were 5 owners that were indicted. It may not appear to the public that things have been done. I want to assure you that behind the scenes, we are working very diligently with all of our partners, not just our local law enforcement, who quite frankly has done a very tremendous job in putting together a very strong case with me as it relates to the events of Saturday night and unfortunately some of the hopefully the pending felony case concludes, if and when it does. We hope that you guys will respect the process and understand that that matter is still under investigation. We have several wonderful leads that we are working on, and that we hope to have a resolution to that investigation soon. But there is a process that we are working through on that to identify all parties involved and who should be held liable for the of that location. I want you all to understand again, and I know you don't want to hear it, and you've probably heard it a lot over the last couple of years, maybe even more before I started. It is a process. The abatement process is not something that can happen overnight. It is a process that is being considered and initiated as we speak, but it is something that takes a lot of time and very specific facts. And it can be challenging at times to accomplish the result that we want throughout that process. And that process includes filing a complaint with the court, requesting them to have a temporary restraining order. If we're successful on the temporary restraining order, that is only a short-term closure of the property. They're entitled to a full hearing to reconsider that decision and be allowed to open during any pending litigation that might take place. And so you would then enter the litigation phase to declare them an abatement and be able to close that location down. Litigation takes time, and there's a lot of uncertainty with that process. The facts necessary are very specific, and while there is a lot of activity around the area, and it's arguable that it can all be attributed to certain locations, that is something that would certainly be heavily debated within the court of law. To me, the challenge does not prevent the process. And so I want you all to understand that on behalf of the city of Garfield Heights, that is being considered and being processed in the moment, but there also are a number of other conversations that are being had with different partners in the process, whether it be the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office, Liquor Control, Ohio Investigative Agencies, but also, as you could imagine, attorneys for Showcase as well. I don't want to get into details. I'm not really at liberty to kind of talk about ongoing investigative information and decisions, but I want you all to understand that I am doing everything I possibly can to seek the result that you all desire, and that is peace in your community. And so with those opening remarks, I also want to thank the individuals in front of me here that I've been working very closely with on this as well. And when we have results, we will certainly make them very publicly aware to the community, and not only hopefully you see the piece, but we can go into more detail with what those resolutions might be. So with that, I will maybe ask if there's any other public comment that people would like to share. I want to hear from you, I'll be honest. I want to hear from the community. I see the police reports. I speak with my officers. I've spoken with some constituents, but I would like to hear from the community if you have specific information that you'd like to share, not just about Showcase. If there are other locations that you're concerned about, certainly share that information with me. And if you're willing to be witnesses to certain litigation in the future, I certainly would like your information.
So the city, oh, I'm sorry.
It should be fine.
So the city cannot, require these businesses to have license during these times while they're operating?
So,
Like Cleveland Heights does this? Other cities do this?
so they do have security. We've had private conversations in the past, and there are security guards present. I know there's security guards present at Showcase. I've had a lot more conversations with them. I can't speak to the other establishments, but it is conversations that Again, very sorry.
All right, you're back. I'm sorry.
As a former council member, 3, and with the help of the present police chief back then, the fire department on occupancy, and our mayor, of course, we shut down 2 bars in Ward 3. One was the Old Cherries and one of them was Thirsty's Lounge. It wasn't because of violence, it was just because of noise. We got them on noise ordinances and occupancy. They closed down, they did not reopen. No, the Cherries Lounge had backroom operations, allegedly. That was never proven. Being on this path, it's very hard to do, but we gotta close them down temporarily if we get them for a year, because what if somebody drives by? What if one of our council members drive by? Are we gonna take a bigger action then? Yeah. What if a kid drives by from high school, there's a shooting? People are dying. It's not just noise anymore, it's a nuisance. You've got the dram shop law, which you can close them down on, it's Ohio law. You've got 1375.02 through 09 of our city ordinances that say, this is the law. You can't do this in Garfield. And it's being done. How many more people, the parking lots at night, they look like, it looks like a dump when they wake up Sunday morning and people are going to church. Nobody cares that owns the businesses. These are the people that care. If there's nothing they can do, their hands are tied. I mean, I appreciate everything you do, but we gotta have more action. We gotta close them down. And I believe, I hate to say this, but Garfield should become a dry city. Thank you very much.
This might not be so pretty. Born and raised in Garfield Heights. I've been living in my house for a long time. I live right by the Showcase. I live on the next street over. I can hit the bar with a rock. I hear gunshots all the time, constantly. I take videos from my dining room window of people running through the neighborhood with their firearms at their side, limping because they're shot. We're sick of it. We're all sick of it. Personally, I think there needs to be a cop sitting there. I don't think there needs to be more cops here. I think there needs to be a cop sitting down there at that. First of all, Showcase needs to go. It needs to go. I've gone there. I've documented probably 5 or 6 shootings there over the last 5 or 6 years. Now, you guys are saying that you've been working for 4 years trying to fix it. It's gotten worse. Nothing has been done. I have absolutely no faith in the Garfield Heights Police Department. None. You know who I am. All right. My personal opinion is you put getting revenue from those places over the lives of the people of this city. That's what I think. That's what I think. That's what I think. I'm redressing right now. You're cutting me off. You're cutting me off. I'm redressing now. All right? We all have a chance to speak and we all have a chance to say. I am the angry person in this crowd. All right? I'm sick of it. I can't get out of here quick enough. I'm unable to leave this city. I've been here since 1960. I was born here. I can't stand this city. I want to go. It's garbage. You know, when I was young, growing up in school, all the kids in school would go, garbage heights, because of the dump. And I was like, no, man, no, that's not cool. That's not cool. You know, shoving match and stuff. Now I agree with them 100%. This place is a dump. And it's because of the city government. It's because of the police department. It's because of all of you. We pay our taxes. We expect things done. We don't get any service. All I hear is you saying we need to get more money in here. All I see is flock cameras. All I see is us being monitored and watched. What does that do? What have you got, like 5 or 6 people over the years for a stolen car or something like that? I feel that's an invasion. I feel that's an invasion of all of our privacy. Getting back to the topic, that place needs to be closed down. And so does Uncut, and so does that other one. My son used to work at the Dave's there, and he worked till 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I would go up there and sit in the parking lot. He never knew this. I would sit in the parking lot and wait for him to walk to his car so nothing would happen to him. One time I didn't, someone took his money. So I think that we all need to come together and hold you accountable.
Hold me accountable, sir.
I try, but it doesn't seem to do good. You seem to be more worried about money than the people. The cops seem to be worried about their safety instead of ours. Officer safety. Our safety comes first. We're the ones who pay your salaries. We're the ones who own this city.
I agree, but the police did show up.
The police show up after the fact. They stand around in their chicken wing stance. And while people are all over the place, they show up after the fact, show off their military equipment so people think, oh, they're doing a good job. I don't think they are. I have proof.
There's things I can't talk about when it comes to the investigation, and then when it comes to how we actually run the department. There's things that if we gave that up.
I'm not asking for that.
Yes, you are.
I'm not asking. I'm just asking for accountability. That's all. When it's all said and done, then I'll listen. But you could do your investigations. I won't interfere with nothing like that. I know how the process goes.
Yeah, we thank you for that.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Am I done?
Yes, there's a 5 minutes limit.
Share your video with the prosecutor.
Would you like to see my videos?
Yeah, we could be,
I'm just saying.
5 time limit.
All right, well, I don't see no clock.
We keep the clock right here.
Well, I don't see it. How do I know?
It's a town hall.
Shame on you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's come on. Applause. These guys aren't doing nothing. My time is up. I wish your time was up.
I just gotta say, seriously, and with all due respect, we have one of the finest police departments.
There's a bootlicker in every crowd.
Chief K and our police department take very good care of the city. We have problems, and we particularly have a problem with Showcase, that's true. But you can't say that our entire elected government and our police department aren't doing anything, because they are definitely.
Did you ever walk the streets after school? Did you ever walk the streets after school and see what happens then?
we're gonna need to maintain some order here, so the herding
All right,
back
that's-
and
You've
forth.
been heard, you've talked.
That is my point. I just needed to counter that we do have a police department.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Come on.
Hi, my name's John Jones, and I just wanna say I've been here for about 11 years, living right there on Plymouth, on the corner right behind the ice cream shop now it's Garfield. So my kids stay on the third floor and they can hear the gunshots, you know? And my kids went to Maple Leaf in the elementary school. But by the time we got to Garfield High School, I couldn't send them.
Me either.
You know, because it's got to the point where the kids is running the streets. They're making, you know, I have to see they got the counselors out here walking the kids halfway home because they have to get them so far away from the school. So if they get into a fight, they're all school grounds. You know,
Responsible no more.
every night, like they say, you walk in, you see the bottles of liquor all in the parking lot. You know, my kids call me and I work third shift. My third floor, Dad, you hear that? They're shooting. My wife called me, they're shooting. You know, and it's just that one bar. You know, I can't say it's all the other bars, but I know for a fact since I've been here, it's been that bar. And I've seen the change. That's why my kids go to Benedictine and Lowline. And I pay a lot of money for them to go there. You know? And it's challenging because my kids were in this school, and my kids did great. They played sports, they learned how to wrestle, and you know, I see the kids in the field, the Bulldogs, I'll be coaching for them guys this year, you know? So it's some positive things, but we gotta get them out of here. Now, everybody talking bad about Garfield Police, now I think they're good, but why can't we set somebody out there from 12 to 2? You know? Let's start finding out the solution. You know, they'll sit in the cut, they get a ticket, sit them right there from 12 to 2. So because the last time it was so bad, I'm sorry, because I'm getting a little nervous.
It's all right, man. It's all right.
Last time it was so bad, we had to have the fire department come just to get through to get her son. I came out and watched. See what I'm saying? It was so many people the police couldn't get through. They had to use the fire department with the horn. So we gotta do a little bit better. I mean, we gotta find solutions. Even if we start having cops during the day, walk the beat when the kids get out of school, because it's about to get bad. Because at the end of the school year, all the kids want to show up. And they all got their phones recording fights. And we gotta do something about it. If we get a beat or we get the cops on the bikes, you know, just simple solutions. And you know, like I said, I'm not bashing nobody, but when you see a problem and Johnny in the classroom's the problem, and ain't all the other kids, it's freaking Johnny. So showcase is Johnny right now. I don't care about, you know, the little up, they never have no problems, but right now, we gotta do something. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say.
Good job, man. Good job, man.
Thank you, Mayor, for calling this meeting today, and thank you, members of council, for seeing all the residents here. Despite us getting a little off track, I think everybody here is here because we care about the community. We care about seeing a safe place. Showcase has been there for a long time. A bar has been there for a long time. Since the new ownership group took over in 2021 is when we started having major problems. We had a shooting in April of 2021, September, then the following year where the co-owner was killed. There was a shooting in 2023 where a woman was shot. One in 2024 in November where somebody was shot while they were operating with a suspended liquor license at the time from the state. They filed an appeal and it's still pending. And then we had the incident of the other day. The state does give some recourse for a legislator to be able to pursue this as a nuisance. Beyond that, I have brought the city of Cleveland's recently passed a new nuisance law that gives them a lot more ability to enforce issues from problem locations. Namely, the power that's given there is, even if it is a tenant, you can impose fines on the building owner. And at a certain point, those get pretty steep. And that gives the city a lot more power to directly influence nuisance bars, nuisance businesses, whatever it may be. Now, I've brought about 15 copies so I can provide them to you guys today so that you can feel free to take a look at it. I don't think we have to reinvent the wheel. We can actually take what they have done and use it as a framework to pass legislation here in the city that'll make it a lot more effective for us to be able to address these issues. I really hope that as soon as possible, we look at getting this bar padlocked and declared a nuisance. I know it is a court process and you can't make any promises on an, and I think that's exactly what we need to do. And I mean, that's really where I stand at. I mean, I think there's 8 homes on my street that have been struck by gunfire since the new owners have taken ownership.
Doing something of that sort of following what Cleveland Heights and Cleveland has done.
I thank you for what you've done, but it's time to do something officially strong. I mean, we need to take action on them. Somebody's gonna die. Somebody else is gonna die. Somebody inside their home might die. My house has been shot. I've had other neighbors whose houses.
That's the guy who lives behind you.
How many times have you seen children on the news that a bullet's gone through the house and hit them while they're in bed?
It's happened in the library.
Yeah, it's true, but enough's enough. They have no reason to operate. Thank you.
Good job. Good job, man. Hey, good job. You live on Vernon? You live behind me. I know your story. I know your story.
And I'm glad to follow.
My neighbor's house has been shot. Mine was missed. I hear you, man.
This resident's comment, because before even running for council years ago, I did security for a couple of bars. So I understand what you're saying. The bar right there, I even forget the names because this has been so long ago, but the bar right there on Lee Road across the street from the Ken Ferguson. The
Sorrel House.
Not Sorrel, down the street from there. Right across the street from right down the street from the Taco Bell, but anyway, and then there was the other one down there on Woodland. In both instances, we have what we're dealing with right now. In both instances, continual, it didn't matter the security that was there. Every now and then, when someone got pissed off inside because the bouncer kicked them out, then they wanted to react. And I just happened to be outside when the shooting is happening. Now, the one thing that is not being mentioned here is that, someone is complaining about Garfield's police department, but then we have representation that understands that Garfield Police Department is actually doing a good job because the reduction in crime is down a little bit, over 30%. Now, you can scoff at that all you want. The statistics are the statistics. So, we have, our police department has the #1 drone department in the state. There are departments that are copying what we are doing. Governor DeWine came to Garfield to see what we were doing, how we spent that money. Now, sure, more must be done. But what is that needs to be done? What no one has mentioned yet is that who are the judges that you're voting for? Because by the time our prosecutors present a case,
Well, they pat themselves on the back, don't
whether
they?
it's juvenile or whether it's adult court, whatever, our laws have changed so much because they're letting people out or reducing the crime or the charge or something like that, and now you got people back out on the streets again. And so when they're getting slapped on the head, what are they gonna do? They're gonna keep on doing what they've been doing. So it's not the police department. It's not counsel. It's not our prosecutor. Who are the judges?
It's like you're passing it on. He's right. I know what goes on. These guys are.
I'm not saying that they're not at fault. The problem is, we arrest them and the courts let them go. That's why we're losing money in the housing market. Our city
I'm
looks
out.
like shit.
I'm gonna move. I've been here over 60 years.
We're going to
That even
Tennessee.
Showcase does shut down, doesn't mean stuff stops.
That's
It ain't like they ain't gonna go to any other bar.
I agree
You
with
know,
that. It's everywhere.
bars in Garfield. So just because you shut down Showcase, so it's problem solved.
Right.
You know, that ain't gonna happen.
Yes, sir.
So what,
It's a start.
so the crime, you know, there's a chance to maybe get a little more police. To hire a few more officers, scouring Turning Road a little more. I think you find, so you're
That's a problem.
the kind of prosecutor that are.
My daughter graduated from there last year. My son graduated there
Oh, you
3 years
wanna
ago.
go-
I sent them
I
away.
graduated.
They can't go nowhere.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
y'all with me? I think as a prosecutor, some of those little
I'm sick of
prosecutors,
this
they
shit
just
fest.
drop
You're part of
charges.
the
In Portland, Walmart leaving all the Portland.
What's that?
People ain't get, people
I
get
said,
no
get your
Walmart
ass
no more.
on from over here. Right.
They just steal everything. Like, you're gonna prosecutor that's gonna prosecute-
They're blowing smoke up your ass. They're patting themselves on the back, and we're.
Keeps the criminals off the street. That's the main thing, keep the criminals off
I got videos. I have videos of up there.
Maybe acts as a deterrent.
I live there.
But if people realize, hey, actually doing all these crimes and not doing nothing, and nothing happens to me, why not?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You know, those people-
What a shit show. What a complete shit show. What?
So I haven't been able to get on there. Yep, so if I just type in YouTube and.
I'm live. I'm live. I gave you that I just released.
Okay.
Fucking idiots. I can't take it, man. Just a bunch of fucking liars blowing smoke up the ass, patting themselves on the back. This city blows. I've been here since 1960. I can't stand it no more. Have a nice day. All right. I haven't been able to see the chat, so I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm pissed, man. I gave it all I could, and I can't believe, I just can't believe the bootlickers, you know? I can't believe it. Walk your ass on out of here. That's what we got to deal with. It's probably her kids that's fucking up this city. Walk your ass out of here. That's what I'm doing. The great Johnny Rotten once said, I've said my piece. Now fuck off. I'm pissed. They pissed me off in there, man. I'm gonna end this live. Peace and love. I'll be all right.